Good evening, guys and girls, ladies, gents. Sorry, I'm kneeling because tonight is a bit different. Um, Normally, I would obviously be sitting, but welcome to HQ Sam Wild Coaching, where all the magic happens. But what I've done is I've set up a whiteboard because tonight I'm going to do something different. We're taking technology of Sam Wild Coaching next level, and we're using a whiteboard. Now, what I want you guys to do, Graham and Stuart, can you tell me that you can read that on my board the right way around? Well, hi, Alexander. Good to see you, man. Can you guys let me know that you can read that? Because when I did this earlier on, I watched it back, it was the wrong way around. So I think I've sorted it. But if you can let me know that you can read that, that would be super, super helpful because this is a big topic and it's really important I get the message across properly. So just let me know that you guys can see that all right, please. So guys, tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that at the moment, especially with my coaching clients, the people I'm working with quite closely, this is a massive topic and one that comes up all the time. So I thought, you know what, now's the perfect time to share this with you guys. So again, if someone could let me know that you can see why do we judge written on that board properly, that would be absolutely wicked. So please do let me know. Let me know if you can't hear me as well. So guys, we're going to talk about judgments, all right? And what we're going to do is take it a step further and why judging people and judging ourselves is a good thing. Yes, mate. Glad to hear it, Alex. It's good to see you on it, man. I hope things are well for you. We'll catch up, actually. It'd be good to see you. Good to hear from you. So we're going to talk about judgments. And the one thing that really causes suffering and us being stuck in this life is when we're judging ourselves or we're judging other people. And we're taught from an early age that judgment is kind of where that ends. When we're judging somebody or where we're kind of judging ourselves, maybe we say to ourselves that we're not confident enough, we're not good enough, we're too overweight, we drink too much. All these things, these judgments on ourselves actually cause a lot of stress and a lot of suffering. So what I want to do is show you how you can take judgments a step further and actually use them as something that's really, really useful for yourself. So if you're somebody that's constantly trying to create goals, you're stuck, you're yo-yo dieting, you find that you're constantly finding you're stressed or you can't move past a certain point, this is a perfect video for you. So let's make a start. Again, it's kind of rudimentary. I'm on my knees. And if you can see these two little black lines down here, right? So this is my whiteboard marker. And in this pot where my wife keeps all her art stuff, for some reason, there's a permanent marker. I mean, who has permanent markers? What is the point? And so I decided to start using them on my board without knowing. So that is what those black marks are, if you're wondering. It's not my attempt at art. So guys, let's make a start. So let's talk about judgments, all right? So when in life we are judging people, we become what I call the judger. Okay, I'm going to do a little diagram for you, all right? So we become the judger. So you're in your life, you're going about your daily life, and you have a judgment on yourself, or you create a judgment on yourself. Let's turn this around to the self to start with. So let's say you are trying to lose weight, or you're trying to create a goal, you're trying to make something happen, right? And it doesn't quite go the way that you think it's going to go. So then your stories in your head or your judgments are, I'm not good enough, I'm not confident enough, I've tried this before, it's not going to work, I can't do this. And that creates a lot of stress, and we believe it. It creates a situation where we get stuck. Because as kids and as we're growing up and we're conditioned, that is generally where our learnings or our teachings tend to end, right? And this goes for judging yourself, and it goes for judging other people as well. All right? If you can read that. So judgments on yourself and other people are perfectly normal. They're perfectly natural. And we often kind of are made to feel guilty about it, right? You try not judging. You physically cannot do it. We are designed to judge. And there's a good reason for that, but we're never taught it. And that is exactly what I'm going to do for you tonight, right? So when you're judging, it creates stress, a feeling of being stuck, frustration, and you end up not getting what it is that you want. And that goes with judging yourself or other people, all right? And for most people, that's kind of where they live their lives. They sort of think, well, I'm not good enough, therefore that's where I'm going to stay. I might chuck a bit of willpower in there, but other than that, I'm going to stay stuck, and that causes us massive problems. So I want to take you a step further. So we can go from that judging place to somewhere far more freeing, far more liberating. So have a think at the moment, guys. Is there something in your life where you're judging yourself, or maybe you look at your body and you don't feel adequate, or you look at somebody else and you think you should be better? You know, I know as a coach myself, and I'm on Facebook sometimes, I'll see a coach who maybe is doing sort of 6 figures a month, and I think, God, you know, maybe I should be doing that. What are they doing that I'm not? I'm not good enough to earn that much money. And that creates judgment. So what I would invite you to do is become an observer, all right? And this will make sense as we go through this. So go from that place of judging yourself and judging other people and become an observer. And what an observer does is say, hey, listen, I recognize right now that I'm judging myself. All right. Hi, guys, for those that have just joined. We're talking about judgments, basically. So, you know, if you missed the first bit, watch back. But the general gist is when we're judging ourselves or other people, it causes stress. You know the things, we're not good enough, I'm not confident enough, all that kind of stuff. What I'd invite you to do is become an observer. And like I said, what an observer does is they recognize that they're judging. They recognize they're making a judgment on other people and themselves, and there's choices to what you do next, right? There's freedom in being an observer, because that is the next step to you asking questions based on your judgments. So, as an observer, you can stay in your judgment. You can continue going around this cycle of, you know, I'm not good enough, all that kind of crap. And you can stay stuck. You know, I'm inviting you to stay stuck. There is choice here. You don't have to do what I'm telling you. Or we can become a learner. So when we're children, our whole life becomes about learning, right? We don't judge ourselves for falling off a bike. We don't say, oh, I'm not good enough to ride a bike. I've fallen off, therefore I need to learn more before I get back on that bike. We just get back on the damn bike and we keep going. We don't judge ourselves for it. But as we get older, we inherit this belief that we need to be more responsible. We can't get things wrong. If you get things wrong, it means we're not good enough. It means we need to earn some confidence. We need to be better. And that creates an awful lot of stress. And that is what you're doing there. You're judging yourself. All right? And again, what I said to you before is that creates stress. It creates the feeling of being stuck. And I know 99.9% of the time when people come to me for some coaching, especially on that first session, that is a word they use all the time. They feel stuck. They're not sure what to do next. And one thing I invite them to do straight away is to become a learner. And what that means is that you're going to ask some questions based on the judgments. All right? So bear with me, because this will get a little bit complicated for some of you, I know, especially if you're new to this. So let's use the example, I'm not confident. All right? I remember quite a while ago now, I was invited to speak on stage, and I have done a few times since that point. And I remember the thoughts and judgments that are going through my head. You know, I'm not good enough, I'm going to be too nervous, people are going to not like what I say. Who am I to be speaking on stage? I mean, what have I got to share compared to all these other guys that are on stage as well? Because I mean, there are some pretty big names. So am I really good enough? And that could have kept me stuck, and that kept me stressed. That could have stopped me growing. And we know from last week, one of the basic human needs is growth. So staying in your judgment does not serve you in any way, shape or form. But the judgment itself can if we become a learner. So what I did, and I'm going to give you an example. So let's use the example of I'm not confident enough. I'm not confident enough. All right. That was my judgment on myself. All right. So for me to be free and liberated from that belief or judgment of myself that I'm not confident enough, all you have to do is ask questions based on that judgment. So that can start, and it doesn't matter, you don't need to come up with answers, it's just asking questions, and it allows your conscious mind to switch from belief and stuck to possibility. All right, it's really simple. You can do this with anything, any judgment, and I invite you to just practice it because it takes a little while to get used to. So I'm not confident enough. Well, really, what is confidence? What is confidence? Do I need it? Do I need confidence to stand up on stage and just be genuine, be authentic, be honest? Maybe I'm up there shaking. Maybe I stumble on my words. Maybe I don't even get out what I want to say. But does it matter? Because if I'm stuck in confidence, I'm never going to get any more confidence. So actually, another question I could ask myself there was, is confidence keeping me stuck? Is the thing that I'm really believing that I need in order to get up and stand up and speak on stage the actual thing that's keeping me stuck? And when you start asking these questions based on the judgments, what starts to happen is you allow yourself, like I said, to move from being stuck to a place of possibility where kind of anything can happen. And this is something that, again, you guys know I've talked about this an awful lot. Well, put the board away for a second, actually, because my knees are killing me. I did a drive, a cruise today with 12 other cars of the one that I've got, and did a lot of driving. My knees are sore. So one thing, like you guys know, I've talked to you about before, was my journey of male infertility, and that intense kind of depression and anxiety and stress and nervousness. And this is one of the things that really helped me out, because one thing I believe that I'm, my significance as a man was being able to have children. And I'm not a real man if I can't have children. And when I started to ask questions based on that judgment, it was, well, what is a real man? What would a real man do in this situation? And that was to put some of my thoughts aside and actually observe what's really happening with my wife, so I could step up in that respect. In truth, does it really make me less of a man? Give me the definition of what that really means, Sam. Really ask yourself, what does it mean to be a real man? How can you be what you believe to be a real man in this situation? And like I said, it kind of took me from a place of believing something and feeling quite heavy and a lot of stress to feeling free and having some possibility. And it wasn't that I was asking questions because I needed an answer. The magic is just in the questioning. When you start to ask those questions, you start to feel free from what it is you believe to be true in that judgment of yourself. And I saw this a lot when I saw people trying to lose weight, when I was working well, I still do occasionally as a PT. And one thing that really stuck out was that people tend to yo-yo. Oh, I've tried it before, it won't work. And it's asking questions around that. Why didn't it work? Have I tried everything? What is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I haven't found yet? And it just creates that possibility. It starts creating those possibilities that you didn't feel before. So guys, one thing I would say to you is, right now and moving forwards, when you're feeling stuck or you're feeling stressed or you're judging somebody else, and this is particularly true in relationships, if you're somebody that's married or in a relationship or had relationships in the past or going to have relationships, even more importantly, have a think about when you're judging that person. I know sometimes for me, if I'm really, really busy and I get a phone call from my wife, I'm like, oh, I'm just too busy for that. I don't have time for her. And that, for me, is quite stressful. And the same for her. So it's, how do I create time? Do I really not have enough time, or am I just too busy with the wrong things? And again, it creates that possibility, and it improves relationships with yourself, other people, but also just creates so much peace within ourselves. So if you find yourself beating yourself up, if you find you need to punish yourself in order to achieve your goal, then just consider, how is it that you're judging yourself? Write them down and turn them into imaginative questions. It doesn't have to be questions that even make any sense to anybody else, as long as they make sense to you. And just practice that. Just have a go with it. And feel free, and a lot of you have, and I really appreciate it. You're sharing your thoughts with me privately, which I really appreciate in the week. So continue to do that if it's something that really helps you. So as you go into this week, just have a think about, like I said, how you're judging yourself and other people, and take that judgment and become a learner. Because a learner in life can't get things wrong. They don't need to be right. It becomes about an experience. It becomes about learning and enjoying and just being. You know, this is why I started this group, because for me, we've detached from what it is to be a human being. And we're not perfect. We seek perfectionism, but we're not perfect. Hi, Heather. Good time to let you know to watch this back because we're just about to finish. This tends to happen each week with somebody. But it's lovely to see you on here. So, guys, that's the message I want to leave you with. Okay? So, last little bit, just a reminder. Go from being a judger to become an observer. Observe whether you're judging, and if you want to, start learning instead. All right? And for those of you that are even, really sort of dedicated to this stuff and really want to know a little bit more, there's a really cool book called Change Your Question, Change Your Life. I read it years ago, and it's just a really, really awesome book that it just helps you to kind of put some of this stuff into practice. And this is the one thing that I think probably changed my outlook on things more than anything else, was that, and what I noticed was the more questions I asked, the more I realized that I was already good enough to ask for and to have anything. This was around money stories, around me asking for more money from people when I coached them, or it was around my relationship stories or stories about myself when I didn't feel good enough because I couldn't have children at the time. So I'd invite you guys to do the same. All right. A nice cheerful note to end on a warm Sunday night. And for those of you that are enjoying your wine, which I imagine is probably most of you, although a couple of you on here are alcohol free, good effort. I hope you continue to enjoy your evening. And guys, listen, like I said, if you want to get in touch with me in the week, please do. I'm here to help. The whole point in this is to create insights for you. And if you are struggling and you're finding things tough and you're stuck, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to keep fighting. You are good enough. And when you come at it life from that place, things happen with ease that are holding you back. So for the guys that join late, feel free to watch it back. It's definitely one that, of all of the lives that I've done so far, the one I'd say is going to be the most valuable to you most immediately. And that's it from me. Until next week, guys. So lots of love. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the sun. And I will speak to you all very, very soon.